Okay, let's go through the usual checks before we actually jump into this. Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's working. Great. Awesome. Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another stream. Sam here. We're gonna be reacting to more Fallout lore by Film Comics Explain. Today is the last Fallout lore video. Or stream, actually. Or reaction. Or whatever you wanna call it at this point. I honestly don't care. I'm here for my own entertainment, basically. Like, I wanna know more because I finished this TV show 3 days ago. So, yeah, let's jump into it.
War never changes.
Yeah, of course it does.
The Romans waged war to gather slaves and wealth. Spain built an empire from its lust for gold and territory. Hitler shaped a battered Germany into an economic superpower. But war never changes. And from the ashes of nuclear devastation, a new civilization would struggle to arise. A few were able to
This is way too grim of a start, let me tell you that. It's just like 28 seconds in, way too grim.
reach the relative safety of the large underground vaults. Your family was part of that group that entered Vault 13. Imprisoned safely behind the large vault door, under a mountain of stone, a generation has lived without knowledge of the outside world. Life in the vault is about to change.
Wait,
The immediate aftermath of the Great War saw the emergence of a landscape that was both literally and metaphorically scorched
were-
earth. Major cities were reduced to rubble. Ecosystems were destroyed.
dude, I remember this scene in the beginning of the show. It was so impressive and so, like, shocking, but also really good. Like, extremely good.
And a nuclear winter ensued, blanketing the sky with soot and radioactive debris. This environmental catastrophe led to the mutation of flora and fauna, giving rise to an
Oh,
altered
the cutest
natural
cow ever.
world where mutated creatures like the deathclaw, rat scorpion, and various forms of irradiated fauna became common. Radiation poisoning became a persistent threat, contaminating water supplies and food sources, fundamentally altering the conditions for survival. The remnants of humanity either perished or adapted to the new world. The survivors emerged into a landscape known as the Wasteland, where lawlessness prevailed. In the vacuum left by fallen governments, new factions emerged, each with its own ideology and approach to rebuilding civilization. Hey guys, what's happening? Nihat here with Film Comics Explained. And as we continue our run on Fallout, today we're going to explore some of
Finally.
these factions, in addition to the story in each of the main games.
And then in terms of the story itself, I really wanted to do the classic Obsidian, presentation of there are these factions that are vying for control. You come into the problem and you have to kind of pick a way to go through it and think a lot about your own values and deciding who you want to support or don't want to support.
And I think that's maybe one of the reasons why people love it so much, is they can go into this Fallout world and just be who they want to be.
There's still a place for you.
I think there's more in that. Like, it's not as complicated sometimes. It's just like, it's a good game, it's fun to play. That's all I need. Sometimes I don't need the huge lore drop or the factions and mountains of lore. Sometimes I need shoot freaking radiated humans in the head. That's it. That's all I need sometimes.
You in the Brotherhood, if you want it.
What would be expected of me if I joined?
You'd be under my command, and I'd expect you to follow orders. No more mercenary work. This
No.
is the real thing. You'd
No,
have
thank you.
access to advanced military weapons, as well as your own personal suit of power armor. Most importantly, you'd have the Brotherhood at your back, ready to spill its own blood to keep you alive.
Are they talking about the Brotherhood of Steel? I think they are, but there may be other Brotherhoods.
So, what do you say?
Probably no, thank you. After the Great War. There we go. Okay, so
gold.
like we had so far, like the war between the United States and the rest of the world. United States just taking over Mexico and then Canada, but at the same time losing Alaska to China and then winning over. Hi, school boss. How you doing? I was in the middle of explaining Fallout lore to myself actually, so I could memorize it. School boss.
gold-producing town of Reading soon found itself in the unenviable position of a scrap of meat being torn by 3 jealous vultures. Sooner than many would have expected, there was nothing left of the scrap that was once Reading. For Vault City, New Reno, and the new California Republic had laid waste to what was once an area of plenty.
That's it? But wait, we jumped from one title to the next just without explanation. We were like Great War, Aftermath, post-apocalyptic bullshit, and now the Unity. Okay. I'm sorry,
Unity,
I'm in the middle
also
of
known as the
eating.
Master's Army, is a pivotal faction in the Fallout universe, introduced in the original Fallout game, released in 1997. Founded by the Master, originally known as Richard Moray, and later known as Richard Grey, they play a central role as the primary antagonistic force, showcasing the darker potential of post-apocalyptic ideologies and biotechnologies.
We mounted an expedition.
God.
Richard Grey led a small group of us up there. Richard Grey was a doctor, a little older than me, and Fran...
Was he in the Fallout TV show? Because I remember seeing the guy with a mustache, like the little mustache here, but I don't know if that's Richard Grey or someone else.
Smart. He found the source. We made it to some sort of central core, like a plant of some sort. That's when it happened. A robot crane crashed into us. Last I saw Grey, he was flying through the air and into some sort of acid
Basically
bath.
dead.
I was in bad shape and, well, I passed
Dude,
out.
you look in bad shape right now. Like you're missing your nose and half your face.
The faction's genesis can be traced back to the Master's transformation, following his exposure to the forced evolutionary virus in the Mariposa military base. After falling into a vat of FEV and undergoing significant mutations, the Master began to assimilate other creatures and humans, expanding his intelligence and capabilities.
Having those aberrations of nature close enough to smell is making me sick to my stomach.
Super mutants. I thought the enemy was the Institute.
Super mutants are no better than synths. They're a
This is very
reminder of
confusing.
man's folly when it comes to harnessing technology. Whether it's using biochemistry to manipulate genes, or trying to create life from a bunch of circuits. It's the wrong path for science.
His vision for the Unity emerged from a desire to end the post-war chaos by creating a single, unified species, super mutants, believing this new race would be free from the conflicts that plagued humanity.
I
The goal
don't
was to
think so.
replace humanity with a species who were immune to problems like disease, infertility, and environmental vulnerabilities.
And oh boy, was he wrong. Otherwise we wouldn't get the Fallout games.
The Unity will bring about the master race.
Master!
One able to survive, or even
Thrive.
in the wasteland. As long as there
That's
are
beyond
differences,
creepy.
we will
Tear ourselves apart!
fighting each other. We need one race,
Race!
one goal,
Goal!
one people to move forward to our destiny.
That sounds oddly, how do you say it? Dictatorial, maybe? A little bit too dictatorial for my taste.
The Master would use the FEV to mutate captured humans into super mutants, who were then indoctrinated into the Unity's ranks. The process, however, was not perfect. While many mutants were strong and durable, others suffered from significant mental degradation, depending on the pre-mutation radiation exposure.
Of course.
Mutants are best equipped to deal with the world today.
Who else?
The ghouls?
Please.
Normals?
They brought nuclear death to us all. This will be the age of mutants.
It wasn't their fault.
The Master effectively planned to
Specifically?
use them to forcibly convert or kill all remaining humans, thus achieving his vision of a unified world. To this end, the Unity employed both military force and subversive tactics, including propaganda and infiltration, to expand its influence and control over the wasteland. It's important to note the Unity does not appear as a formal faction outside of the original Fallout game, but its influence continues to be felt. References to the Master's experiments and the remnants of his mutant army appear throughout the series, particularly in Fallout 2 and Fallout New Vegas, where descendants of the super mutants and other mutants continue to impact the world.
The death of the Master was the first major step towards ending his mad dream of conquest and enforced peace. But It is the destruction of the vats that neutralizes the mutant threat. Without the ability to create more mutants and enforce their harsh brand of justice, the mutant armies flee to the east, beyond the No Man's Land.
Yes, the Brotherhood of Steel. I really want to know about the Brotherhood.
The Brotherhood is an old organization going back to the years just after the war. We are but a part of it. The Brotherhood began on the West Coast and exists there still. We were dispatched to this location many years ago. In truth, the Brotherhood of Steel has been struggling for years, both here and back home. Honor, truth, courage. These virtues seem to have little meaning in these troubled times, I'm afraid.
The Brotherhood of Steel stands as one of the most influential and complex factions within the Fallout series.
Yeah.
Founded in the aftermath of the Great War, they've been a constant presence across the series. Its ideology and actions heavily shaping the post-apocalyptic landscape.
The Brotherhood of Steel helps the other human outposts drive the mutant armies away with minimal loss of life on both sides of the conflict. The advanced technology of the Brotherhood is slowly reintroduced into New California with little disruption or chaos. The Brotherhood wisely remains out of the power structure and becomes a major research and development house.
The Brotherhood was formed by Captain Roger Maxson, a former U.S. Army officer stationed at the Mariposa military base. Disillusioned by the government's sanctioned experiments involving the forced evolutionary virus, which he discovered shortly before the nuclear apocalypse, Maxson led a rebellion against his superiors. After securing the loyalty of his men and their families, he led them to safety in the Lost Hills bunker in California, where the Brotherhood was officially founded. The core tenet of the Brotherhood is the control and preservation of pre-war technology. Viewing the misuse of technology as the primary cause of the nuclear war, they seek to prevent future disasters by restricting access to them.
Our main goal is to survive. The scribes copy old plans for weapons or design new ones, and the knights make guns from them. Most guns come from us.
I mean, they're way, how'd you say it? They're different. In the show, at least, they're more like a cult and us freaking just like they're a bunch of assholes. That's what I mean.
Our orders were and are to acquire any and all advanced technology, and we have to the best of our abilities. But when I realized the extent of the super mutant threat, I felt it was my responsibility to aid the people in their struggle against them. Unfortunately, my superiors back west disagree with my assessment of the situation. They feel I've grown too attached to the local populace. And they're right.
This mission, combined with a rigid hierarchical military structure, has defined their interactions with the world around them. In Fallout, the Brotherhood makes its debut as a reclusive but powerful group in Southern California. Here the player can interact with them by undertaking a dangerous initiation quest. By Fallout 2, their role is diminished, but they remain a source of advanced technology and military prowess. In Fallout 3, the East Coast chapter, led by Elder Lyons, adopts a more humanitarian approach, actively engaging in the protection of the Capital Wasteland's inhabitants against super mutants and other threats. In Fallout New Vegas, the Mojave chapter reflects a return to traditional values, focusing on self-preservation and the hoarding of technology, which puts them at odds with other local factions. When it comes to Fallout 4, under Elder Maxson, the Brotherhood's East Coast chapter becomes more authoritarian and militant, prioritizing the destruction of synths and other abominations.
Oh, okay, I see. So it's like a degradation throughout the years. They become a bunch of assholes during the years. Like, the more they exist, the more of an assholes they become.
Reflecting a stark evolution in their doctrine.
This notion that a machine could be granted free will is not only offensive, but horribly dangerous. And like the atom, if it isn't harnessed properly, it has the potential of rendering us extinct as a species. I am not prepared to allow the Institute to continue this line of experimentation. Therefore, the Institute and their synths are considered enemies of the Brotherhood of Steel, and should be dealt with swiftly and mercilessly.
Complicated.
This campaign will be costly. and many lives will be lost.
Yeah, how many bottle caps? How many bottle caps is gonna cost you to actually kill all robots?
But in the end, we will be saving humankind from its worst enemy.
Itself?
Itself.
I predicted.
Explores the origins of the Brotherhood's presence in Appalachia, adding depth to their expansion and early challenges through various in-game recordings and missions. Their impact on the Wasteland is profound, characterized by their advanced technology, particularly their iconic power armor and energy weapons. Their military capabilities often put them at the center of regional power struggles. However, their technological elitism and isolationist tendencies have also led to conflicts, not only with external groups, but within their own ranks, leading to splinter factions and internal strife. The Brotherhood's ethical stance, while rooted in preventing the misuse of technology, often leads them into moral grey areas, including aggressive expansionism and conflicts over resources. This has positioned them variably as protectors, hoarders, and even antagonists within the series.
Makes sense.
Lizzie, Tucano says the satellite's failing.
Elder, we don't have the men for the mission. The Bravos just keep coming.
Then find new men. Think outside the playbook.
Elder, you trust the outsiders too readily. They will betray you.
You too, Paladin. Everyone around me keeps saying shut the world out, only look out for ourselves. But the Brotherhood alone
I'm being distracted by the gameplay.
We need them.
I'm far more interested in the gameplay. The Enclave. That's gonna happen in season 2 of the show, I think. They're gonna present the Enclave, or at least at the end of the show, they just kind of like introduce them. Maybe? I don't know. I am not sure. Like, take all I say with a grain of, like, as a grain of salt, like, I'm gonna be mistaken.
The Enclave is one of the most pivotal and enigmatic factions, representing the remnants of the pre-war United States government. They are portrayed as a secretive and technologically advanced group whose influence spans across several games, deeply intertwined with the core narratives of the Fallout universe.
Yeah. In any event, the Enclave's arrival changes everything. It's been over 20 years since we arrived, and we've been struggling to contain and eradicate the super mutants for nearly as long. With the arrival of the Enclave, I have a terrible feeling the super mutants are the least of our worries.
The Enclave was founded...
Yeah, there we go! Yeah, I was right. I'm sorry, but I was right.
Great War of 2077, composed of top-ranking government officials, military leaders, and influential corporate entities such as the executives of the Vault-Tec Corporation. Their fundamental belief is that they're the last pure remnants of humanity, unmutated by the radio...
This guy. This is the guy I was talking about. Yeah, I was talking about him. I don't know who he is, but he looks oddly familiar.
Active fallout, or the forced evolutionary virus that have ravaged the world. The group views itself as a legitimate government of the US, and believes in its divine right to reclaim the post-apocalyptic world and reshape it in their image.
The Brotherhood of Steel has encountered the Enclave before, you see. Over 30 years ago, back in California. Then they were led by a President Richardson. Now we've got this Eden to contend with. It matters not now. As before, they seek to control and destroy. All in the guise of restoring order.
In Fallout 2, the Enclave makes its first significant appearance. Here, they're the primary antagonists, operating from an offshore oil rig in the Pacific Ocean. The player discovers that they've been experimenting with FEV to eradicate what they consider the mutant population of the Wasteland. By Fallout 3, the Enclave re-emerges in the capital Wasteland. Led by President John Henry Eden, they seek to deploy a modified FEV virus using the water purifier in the Project Purity initiative to kill all irradiated individuals, which they again classify as mutants.
Anyone or anything that has been affected by mutation will be eliminated. You will likely be immune thanks to your upbringing in the Vault. Likewise, the good people of the Enclave will be unaffected as well.
What about the bad people?
I understand that you may have become sympathetic to certain individuals in your travels. Individuals this will eliminate. Please recognize that the fate of our entire country rests on this plan. Sacrifices must be made for the greater good.
While not central antagonists, in New Vegas, the Enclave's remnants are presented as scattered, disillusioned factions and characters who reflect on the Enclave's past actions and ideologies. Fallout 76 explores the Enclave's activities before the bombs fell and immediately afterward, detailing their operations within a secret bunker in West Virginia. Their methods are often ruthless and driven by a utilitarian philosophy that justifies mass murder and genocide for the greater good of rebuilding civilization. Their plans typically involve the use of sophisticated technology that survived the war, including power armor, energy weapons, and advanced AI systems. They also have access to orbital missiles and other powerful military assets that give them a significant advantage over other factions.
You look out at this wasteland, looks like chaos, but there's always somebody behind the wheel.
Throughout their appearances, their role as a formidable force is consistent, with their advanced technology contrasting sharply with the primitive living conditions most other survivors endure. Their ideology and methods position them as one of the series' most clear-cut antagonists. Having said that, interactions with characters such as Arcade Gannon in Fallout New Vegas and Modus in Fallout 76 add layers of complexity to their characterization, suggesting internal conflicts and differing perspectives within the faction.
Welcome. We are Modus, the final member of an assembly of the greatest minds ever gathered on American soil. We called ourselves the Enclave. Our members were once the puppet masters of the United States, quietly pulling strings at every level of power in the nation.
New California Republic. Yay, boy, let's go!
The New California Republic is a prominent and expansive faction, embodying the efforts to restore democratic government and societal structure in the post-apocalyptic world. Their narrative arc offers a detailed examination of the challenges and complexities associated with rebuilding civilization after a catastrophic nuclear war.
In Shady Sands, Tandy helps her father Aradesh bring a new community and new life out of the broken remains of the world. They are responsible for the New California Republic, whose ideals spread across the land.
The faction was founded in 2186, originating from the small community of Shady Sands, which players first encounter in the original Fallout game.
Okay, now I understand more about the show, because Shady Sands, in the show, it's important, but not that important, like, it's kind of like there. So now I get it. Like, I'm starting to understand more. Maybe I should have watched these videos before watching the show.
Shady Sands was a small agrarian settlement that, thanks to the players' interactions, would eventually grow in power and influence. By the time of its re-emergence in Fallout 2, it had transformed into the burgeoning New California Republic, driven by a set of constitutional principles, including democracy, liberty, and the rule of law.
Okay, yeah.
Was Shady Sands. Most folks call it NCR now. New California Republic.
NCR.
Pretty impressive name, huh? Lord, I could talk about that forever, and I just don't have the time. Here's a holodisc on the NCR. We make them to spread the good word.
Their primary goals are to restore order and civil government, expand their territory, and bring the benefits of pre-war technology and governance back to the wasteland. However, this is not without the consequences of corruption and bureaucratic inefficiency that typically accompany rapid expansion and governance. Its military and political activities are central to the game's plot, depicting both its strengths as a democratic society and its flaws, such as overexpansionism and corruption. The NCR's expansionist policy is driven by a need for resources, land, and security. They implement a structured government based on...
They are no different, like, from, I don't know, they're no different to the Brotherhood of Steel or the Enclave that much, you know, like, pretty much corrupt, they kill people, and they're ambitious. They're all the same, deep down.
Democratic elections, a codified legal system, and a standing military. However, their methods sometimes lead to conflicts with other factions and indigenous groups, who view the NCR's expansion as imperialistic.
You don't say! Really?
This is a message to the NCR from the Legion. We are coming for you. Run, and we will catch you. Hide, and we will find you. No matter what you do, you are all going to die.
Well, chill.
This
chill,
includes skirmishes with the Brotherhood of Steel, clashes with the native tribes and raiders of the Mojave, and the strategic political maneuvering seen in Fallout New Vegas.
NCR forces were permitted
there we
to
go, this guy.
occupy Hoover Dam and establish a military base at McCarran Airport. They recognized my sovereignty over the Vegas Strip and agreed to supply electricity and water once their engineers repaired the dam. That's how I harnessed the NCR to my endeavor. Their occupation has been the engine of my growing economy. The salient issue is that they will go to war with me if given the chance. There's just one reason why the NCR hasn't contrived some outrage to justify invading the Strip. Caesar's Legion. The final battle between those two armies is fast approaching. I can't afford to let either side win on their terms.
They represent one of the most significant attempts to rebuild pre-war society, and show that even in a devastated world, people can come together to rebuild and mimic the societal structures of the old world.
What happened?
It's the same thing that always happens. Everyone wants to save the world, they disagree on how.
Now what? The Followers of the Apocalypse. That's a cool name.
The Followers of the Apocalypse stand as a unique faction, embodying the ideals of pacifism, humanitarianism, and the pursuit of knowledge. Unlike many other groups in the series, which often prioritize power or survival through force, they focus on healing, education, and helping communities thrive in the harsh realities of the post-apocalyptic world.
Far to the south, near the Great Glow, the times were hard, but we managed to survive. We realized then the Great War must never happen again. After my parents were killed by marauders, it was time the killing stopped. It's our goal to make this land the way it used to be, before the war.
Founded in 2186, the Followers of the Apocalypse began as a small group based in the ruins of the Los Angeles Public Library. Led by Nicole, their founder, the Followers emerged in direct response to the violence and chaos that characterized post-war society. Their philosophy is rooted in the betterment of humankind through education, medical aid, and the preservation of pre-war knowledge. They believe in the equitable distribution of technology and information, advocating against the hoarding and weaponization of resources that could benefit the greater good.
We don't worship so much as follow a set of principles. We want to bring peace back to this wasteland. The world tends toward destruction, so we try to make a difference. We try to remind people why the Great War happened in the first place, and help ensure it won't ever happen again.
You could blame the
Their primary goal is to ensure that the Wasteland's residents have access to basic necessities such as healthcare, clean water, and education. They're staunchly opposed to the use of violence except as a last resort, and they actively work to prevent the abuse of technology by more militant factions. To achieve these ends, the Followers recruit doctors, scholars, and scientists, and often send their members into dangerous territories to provide aid and gather knowledge.
We never give up hope. We never will, even though most live by the gun these days. And we are concerned with the children of the cathedral. They claim to want peace like us, but anyone who disagrees with them just disappears. Their dark god is not what he seems. Believe me. Call it instinct. We've seen Morpheus and the Nightkin, and they don't look like peacemakers to us. Their hospitals and message of peace make them attractive, but we know there's evil there.
Over the years, they've grown from a small, idealistic group into a significant humanitarian organization, whose efforts can be felt across the wasteland. Their impact is most visible in their attempts to treat the addicted and diseased, educate the impoverished, and broker peace between warring factions. In Fallout New Vegas, their influence is pivotal in several potential endings for the region, particularly in how they help to manage the societal implications of Hoover Dam's fate and the struggle for power in New Vegas.
Caesar's Legion. This is also a faction in New Vegas.
Caesar's Legion is one of the most controversial and distinctly characterized factions in Fallout, embodying themes of autocracy, militarism, and the ruthless imposition of a single vision. They offer a stark exploration of authoritarian rule and cultural hegemony, set against the backdrop of a post-apocalyptic America.
The NCR mobilized its army and sent it east to occupy Hoover Dam and restore it to working condition. But across the Colorado, another society had arisen, under a different flag. A vast army of slaves, forged from the conquest of 86 tribes. Caesar's Legion.
The Legion was founded in 2247 by Edward Sallow, who would later come to be known as Caesar. While originally sent by the followers of the Apocalypse to study and assist tribal populations in Arizona, Sallow instead united the tribes under his rule through a combination of conquest and assimilation, adopting the title of Caesar. The Legion's ideology is heavily inspired by a romanticized view of a Roman imperial governance, military structure, and culture, mixed with a harsh interpretation.
So they're basically history nerds, obsessed with Rome and Caesar. Basically.
Of survival of the fittest. Caesar's goal is to create a society that can effectively wipe out the chaos of the wasteland by enforcing a rigid social order, eliminating cultural differences, and promoting loyalty to the state above all else.
Caesar's Legion. A bunch of degenerate slavers led by a madman who calls himself Caesar. Every one of them is a barbarian to the last. I've even heard one of their leaders, the Legate or something, goes around with a human skull on his head. Savages to the last.
The Legion effectively operates as a slaver society. They believe in the reclamation of the post-apocalyptic world through total control and the eradication of perceived weaknesses within human societies. Their methods are authoritarian and brutal, involving the enslavement of conquered peoples, the subjugation of women to servile roles, and the glorification of martial prowess. They reject the use of advanced technology in warfare, preferring the use of machetes, spears, and other melee weapons to emphasize personal combat skill, and to prevent reliance on pre-war technology.
The worst of the worst. A tribe of degenerate losers led by a creep. They crucify people for kicks, slaughter whole towns. The NCR beat them at the dam 3 years ago, but that didn't stop them. They spent the meanwhile gathering strength. They're gonna try to take the dam again real soon, and if they do, Vegas as we know it will cease to exist.
From its inception, the Legion has expanded rapidly across Arizona, Utah, and Colorado, absorbing or destroying dozens of tribes and settlements. Their expansion is marked by significant violence and cultural erasure, as all assimilated groups are forced to abandon their previous identities and adopt the culture of the Legion. In Fallout New Vegas, their clash with the new California Republic over control of the Mojave represents the potential high watermark of their expansion, or its possible stalling, depending on the player's actions. The game critically explores...
Wait. So if they don't use, like, long-range weapons and modern weapons, and just, like, swords and knives, how did they get so powerful? I get it, like... Most people in Fallout don't have, like, pistols and assault rifles, but, like, the NCR, the Brotherhood of Steel, should crush them easily.
The sustainability of such a society, questioning whether a civilization built on conquest and enforced uniformity can endure or adapt peacefully.
Don't worry. I won't have you lashed to a cross like the rest of these degenerates. It's useful that you happen by. I want you to witness the fate of the town of Nipton, to memorize every detail. And then, when you move on, I want you to teach everyone you meet the lesson that Caesar's Legion taught here, especially any NCR troops you run across. Yes, and herded them to the center of town. I told them their sins, the foremost being disloyalty. They stood and watched as their fellows were butchered, crucified, and burned one by one. They stood and hoped their turn would not come. Each cared only for himself.
Whoop.
As are all crimes, if you feel strongly about it, attack us, and soon you won't feel a thing.
Okay, easy enough. Mr. House, this is the bastard I want to know about.
In the expansive lore of Fallout, Robert Edwin House, commonly referred to as Mr. House, stands out as one of the most complex and influential characters. He is not so much a faction leader as he is a faction unto himself, embodying the technological pinnacle and autocratic potential of pre-war civilization. Mr. House's role is central to the plot of Fallout New Vegas, where his ambitions and plans for the post-apocalyptic world are unveiled.
Through it all, the New Vegas Strip has stayed open for business, under the control of its mysterious overseer, Mr. House. and his army of rehabilitated tribals and police robots.
I am Robert Edwin House, President, CEO, and sole proprietor of the New Vegas Strip. Before the Great War of 2077, I was the founder, president, and CEO of Robco Industries.
I was right.
Computer and robotics corporation.
I was right.
Don't let the video screens and computer terminals fool you. I'm flesh and blood, not silicon. Let's just say it was very costly. But I was willing to make the sacrifices longevity entailed, financial and otherwise.
Robert was born in 2020 to a wealthy and renowned family.
Dude, he's a freaking Gen Alpha? My brother in Christ, you should not be able to pay attention. You should have your attention span absolutely destroyed. The dude must be watching TikTok all day.
A genius with an IQ of 180.
Like me.
He attended the prestigious...
He's just like me, for real, for real.
Institute of Technology in Massachusetts, where he studied robotics and computer science. He went on to found Robco Industries at the age of 22, quickly turning it into one of the largest...
He looks eerily similar to the brother of the main character. I don't know, like the girl from Vault 33, I think it was. Yeah, 33.
Most profitable technology companies in the world, specializing in military hardware and consumer electronics. And his creations, including the Pip-Boy, Securitrons, and various robotic systems, are staple elements throughout the games. Fallout New Vegas marks Mr. House's only appearance in the series. We learn that before the Great War of 2077, foreseeing the impending nuclear apocalypse, he used his vast resources and intellect to develop a system to protect himself and his beloved city, Las Vegas. He successfully intercepted the majority of the missiles aimed at the city and preserved much of its infrastructure, rebranding it as New Vegas.
On the day of the Great War, 77 atomic warheads targeted Las Vegas and its surrounding areas. My networked mainframes were able to predict and force transmit disarm code subsets to 59 warheads, neutralizing them before impact. Laser cannons mounted on the roof of the Lucky 38 destroyed another 9 warheads. The rest got through, though none hit the city itself. A suboptimal performance, admittedly. If only the Platinum chip had arrived a day sooner.
Oh, the Platinum chip.
The primary goal of Mr. House was the revitalization of humanity and the restoration of civilization. He aimed to make New Vegas a true city of the future, a hub of order and prosperity amid the chaos of the post-apocalyptic world. Unlike many other factions that relied on ancient social structures or brute force to achieve their aims, he used his technological prowess, strategic acumen, and network of Securitrons to maintain control and implement his vision. His methods were pragmatic and often ruthless, and he maintained a strict governance over New Vegas, allowing the various other factions to operate only under his oversight. The character employed a combination of economic manipulation, strategic alliances, and militaristic enforcement to achieve his objectives. His ultimate ambition extended beyond mere survival. In fact, he envisioned a new era of technological advancement and societal progress, and planned to use the wealth generated from New Vegas to restart tech development and eventually colonize space.
Vegas will be a shining jewel in the middle of the desert, an oasis of light, a beacon to show mankind the way to the stars. This is just the start, you see. This is where it all begins.
Mr. House represents a philosophical counterpoint to other factions in the game, such as the NCR's democratic but cumbersome bureaucracy, and sees his legion's brutal authoritarianism. His vision is technocratic and authoritarian, believing that efficient, centralized control by a competent authority can lead to stability and growth.
It's a fun idea. There's a lot of earning potential with the end of the world. But we're talking about making a significant investment based on a hypothetical. Here's my problem with the vaults. You can find a bunch of rats in a nest for a long time. They end up eating each other.
Okay, the most basic faction, I think.
In Fallout, the Raiders are synonymous with chaos and violence. Scattered across the American wasteland, they're not a single cohesive group, but rather a series of independent and often competing bands of marauders, thieves and murderers who prey on the weak and disrupt the remnants of civilization. Their presence underscores the breakdown of societal norms and the survival of the fittest ethos that pervades the game world.
What? Apart from the wasteland critters, slaver raiding parties, raider hit squads, and occasional landmine? No, it's completely safe.
Oh yeah,
Raiders
sure,
do not have a formal foundation date like more organized factions.
You're likely to die. You have like a 95% chance of dying, but it's completely fine.
But they have likely existed in various forms shortly after the bombs fell in 2077, arising from the lawless remnants of society that survived the nuclear apocalypse. They are bound by a common ideology that prioritizes survival and power over ethical or communal considerations, and thrive on anarchy and mayhem, often indulging in brutal acts of violence, both as a means to control their own members and to instill fear among their enemies.
Imagine a picture, okay? A picture of the capital wasteland. All that brick and rock. A whole lot of nothing, right? There's people out there trying to just barely make it from day to day, fighting to stay alive and make something out of what they got. But then you've got all kinds of shit. Slavers, super mutants, raiders. They all want a slice of the pie too, and aim to take it by force.
The primary goal of raider groups is to exploit the wasteland for their own benefit, which they achieve through raiding, pillaging, and subjugating others. They are opportunistic predators who take advantage of the weak and unprepared, using fear and force to acquire resources such as food, ammunition, and territory. Their methods are uniformly savage. They often torment and murder captives, display trophies of their kills, and adorn their lairs with decorations made from the remains of their victims.
Oh, I see now. You're here about that guy, huh? Well, good luck getting anything out of him. He's been dead a while. He came up here to negotiate with my raider associates. They strung him up and left him to die after convincing him to spill the beans about what he was up to.
While typically portrayed as mindlessly violent, some games in the series explore the origins and motivations of individual groups,
I don't think
providing
this is me.
deeper context
No, it
for their
wasn't.
behavior.
Okay.
For instance, in Fallout 4, the player can learn about the personal histories of certain leaders, who often turn to raiding out of desperation, social rejection, or the corrupting influence of power. Fallout 76 also introduces factions like the Cutthroats and the Trappers, each with distinct backstories and organizational structures.
This is Margie McClintock of the Diehards. What a joke. Deluded ourselves into thinking our victims would fear a name like that. But now, everyone out there is as desperate as we are. And every confrontation could mean life or death. People take their chances. They fight back. So, we have to kill. We have to murder innocent people. Well, not me. I don't care what this world has come to. It's not taking me down with it. The whole idea of the Raiders is sick. It's inhuman.
Despite their lack of complexity, they significantly impact the gameplay and narrative of the Fallout series. They serve as both a common enemy that populates the game world and a narrative element that underscores the harsh realities of life in the wasteland.
This may just you're overanalyzing it.
I really want to kill you right now.
Oh, okay. Super mutants. Okay, finally.
The mutant armies, led into battle by the fierce super mutants, destroy the followers of the apocalypse. Barely human carrion feeders pick over the followers' remains.
Super mutants are one of the most iconic and recurring antagonists, representing the unintended consequences of pre-war technologies and the corrupt pursuits of creating super soldiers. These genetically modified beings are products of the forced evolutionary virus, which was initially designed to enhance human abilities. Instead, it resulted in creating monstrous, often aggressive creatures with significant physical prowess.
It's those mutants. I've done some calculations, and the mutant population is far greater than could be expected by natural growth or mutations. This leads me to believe, and I don't really understand it, but it looks like someone's generating new mutants, and at a startling rate.
They were first created when the US government began experimenting with FEV in Mariposa, years before the Great War. The intent was to develop bio-enhanced super soldiers capable of surviving nuclear fallout. As mentioned earlier, after the war, these experiments were continued and expanded by the Master.
We found a research facility in operational shape about 70 years ago, a former military base that had been used to research a special virus. Yes, the FEV virus. It was originally developed to turn soldiers into super warriors, but it failed. The warriors were tough and strong, but far too stupid.
They appear in every major game, serving as both formidable enemies and occasional allies, depending on their individual mutations and the influence of the FEV on their cognitive abilities. The goals of super mutants can vary significantly, depending on their origins and the effects of the FEV on their intellect. However, they often exhibit aggressive, territorial behavior, driven by a basic desire for survival and an instinctive need to expand their kind through capturing humans for transformation. Their methods are typically brute force with little regard for strategy, relying on their physical superiority to dominate opponents.
Whoa! What the hell are you?
First time seeing a super mutant. You've led a sheltered life. It wasn't exactly my best idea, but turning into one of these hulking monstrosities was the only way to... well, to get here. At least I avoided some of the side effects and retained my faculties.
Throughout the series, the portrayal of super mutants evolves. Initially depicted as universally hostile, later games introduce more nuanced characters such as Forks from Fallout 3 and Strong from Fallout 4, who show that they can retain individual personalities and moral compasses. This complexity adds depth to their characterization, moving beyond mere monsters to become tragic figures, shaped by the circumstances of their creation.
Come on, boy. It's time to go. That thing food, not fighter. After human eats it, come find Strong.
This is way slower than I hope it would be, honestly. I thought it was gonna be like something more fast-paced and interesting, but it's killing me. It's straight up just murdering me.
The Institute is one of the most enigmatic and technologically advanced factions. Known for their secretive nature and highly advanced scientific capabilities, they serve as a central antagonist in Fallout 4, highlighting themes of ethics and technology, the nature of humanity, and the potential dangers of isolationism.
The Institute?
You ain't heard of the Institute, lady? They snatch people up in the night and no one hears from them again. It's all in the paper. Better read up before they grab you, too.
Those early model synths of theirs strip whole towns for parts, killing everything in their way. Then you got the newer models, good as human, that infiltrate cities and pull strings from the shadows. Worst of all, no one knows why they do it, what their plan is, or where they are. Not even me. And I'm a synth myself.
It was founded in the late 21st century, originating from the remnants of the Commonwealth Institute of Technology in Massachusetts. After the Great War, scientists and academics from CIT sought refuge underground, eventually forming a society that emphasized scientific progress and technological superiority as the means to restore and control civilization. Their ideology centers around the belief that the surface world is beyond saving, and that their scientific advancements, particularly in the fields of artificial intelligence and biotechnology, justify any actions they take in pursuit of their goals. They are a pivotal faction in Fallout 4, driving much of the game's narrative and moral quandaries. Players explore the complex relationship between the Institute and surface dwellers, particularly through the lens of the game's protagonist, whose personal story is deeply intertwined with the secretive organization.
We're looking for my baby, Sean. He's less than a year old.
This isn't a random kidnapping. Whoever took your kid had an agenda. A lot of groups in the Commonwealth that take people. Raiders, super mutants, the Gunners, and of course there's the Institute.
Their primary goal is to develop technology that can create a better world, at least by their definition. This includes the controversial creation of synths, synthetic humans who are used to infiltrate the surface and perform tasks that further their research and interests. These synths range from rudimentary mechanical models to highly advanced versions that are indistinguishable from real humans. The Institute's methods are often ruthless. They do not hesitate to replace humans with synth replicas to manipulate events on the surface or retrieve valuable data, showing a disregard for surface life that many see as cold and inhumane.
There is a cancer, known as the Institute. A malignant growth that needs to be cut before it infects the surface. They are experimenting with dangerous technologies that could prove to be the world's undoing for the second time in recent history. The Institute scientists have created a weapon that transcends
like
the
friends.
destructive nature.
I don't know. I mean, in Fallout, anyone could be your friend if you have the necessary skills. You know, like I feel like you can make friends from the Brotherhood of Steel to the Institute if you are useful to them. Even the Raiders or the super mutants. So I feel like you could be friends with anyone.
Atom bomb. They call their creation the synth.
But if you're an introvert, you are dead. You're basically dead. You died.
A robotic abomination of technology that is free-thinking and masquerades as a human being.
Throughout Fallout 4, the player discovers the breadth of the Institute's influence and the moral complexities of their actions. Their technological paradise contrasts sharply with the often brutal and...
Yeah. Don't worry, I am doomed too, so we're probably gonna die. Like, if we were to be dropped in the Fallout world, we would probably die. Yeah, I would probably be dead, like, instantly. I would try to drink water and it would be radiated water, and I would die.
chaotic conditions on the surface. Their advanced tech, particularly the teleportation capabilities and the creation of synths, represents a significant power dynamic in the game's world.
Why do you want the Courser chip?
Institute tech is light years beyond what we have. And a Courser chip is top of the line. I'm not gonna get into details, but that chip could help us save lives. Maybe throw a wrench in some of the Institute's operations. So, hand over the chip.
No way. The railroad? Like,
You'll never
that's
guess who
a
just
bad
showed
name
up at
for
my
a
place.
faction.
That android catcher from the Commonwealth. At first, I thought he was going to kill me. But it turns out he's an
Oh,
android
God.
himself. And he's gone rogue. I didn't believe him at first. But I'm convinced he's telling the
Oh
truth.
god, that's nightmare fuel! That's nightmare fuel! What are you doing to me, Fallout? Imagine radioactive water could be a tasty way to go. I don't know, dude. Have you seen the Fallout show? Because there's a scene where the main character, or one of the main characters, drinks radiated water, and it's not fun to watch. I don't know, but this synth, I think they're called, it's just nightmare
We
fuel.
need to find him a place to hide along the railroad.
The Railroad is a secretive and morally driven faction, primarily featured in Fallout 4.
You have never... Okay. It's okay, you're not missing anything special, but you could watch it without knowing the lore, as I did, and it's still fun to watch. But also, you're not missing anything important. It's not the best show of the year so far, in my opinion. So yeah, if you want to leave recommendations for movies, animes, or shows, do it in the chat. I just hopped in the stream and embracing the chaos. Yeah, I am chaotic. I am an ADHD goblin. So don't expect to make much sense of the way I talk or the way I behave.
4. Known for their clandestine activities and dedication to a singular cause, the Railroad is committed to the liberation and safety of synthetic humans created by the Institute.
Wake up, Commonwealth. Synths are not your enemy. They are victims in this war as well. True, they were created by the Institute, but they were created as slaves. Thinking, feeling, and dreaming beings, utterly oppressed by their tyrannical masters. So join with us in fighting the real enemy, the Institute. Join the Railroad. When you're ready for that next step, don't worry. We'll find you.
How are you
faction,
gonna know?
They draw on historical abolitionist movements, particularly the Underground Railroad that helped slaves escape to freedom in the United States.
Okay.
They were founded sometime in the early 23rd century, though the exact date remains obscure due to the secretive nature of the organization. Their ideology is based on the belief that synths are sentient beings with the right to live free from the control of the Institute, which creates and often treats them as mere property or tools.
Okay, we as humanity are getting there. I think we are getting it there with AI. Someday we'll have like synthetics AI, and we'll have the railroad. So Fallout reflects a lot of the real world problems. Mainly the pre-Fallout story is just way too similar.
In a world full of suspicion, treachery, and hunters, we're the synths' only friends. We're the railroad.
They operate under the principle that synths deserve the same.
Blue Giant. I'm gonna add it to the list. The other day, another subscriber just also recommended me I think it was a TV show, but I'm gonna add it to the list because I need to watch more stuff. I need to consume more media. Blue Giant. There we go. I'm put it in the correct spot because oh my god, my phone, just come on, it's so slow. Why is this app so fucking slow? Oh my god, come on, go up. Oh my god, it's taking forever. Oh, okay, here we go. Oh, finally. It took me forever. It's not that I don't like jazz, but I don't know, I don't dislike it. I can listen to it from time to time. So yeah, I mean, it's fun. I like coffee jazz, which is weird. Let's see. I think I'm learning. Well, you know what? Nobody can tell you that you didn't learn anything today. So that's the good part. I am trying to consume all the Fallout lore to understand it. And so far, it's been tough. And it's been rough.
Same freedoms as any post-war human survivor. A controversial stance that puts them at direct odds with both the Institute and other factions that view synths as dangerous or exploitable. The faction's operations are based out of the Old North Church in Boston, Massachusetts, reflecting their roots in historical, revolutionary movements. Their primary goal is to rescue synths from the Institute and give them new identities so they can start new lives, unnoticed in the Commonwealth.
I like listening to coffee jazz when I cook. When I'm cooking, it's just such a groovy and nice thing to do. Like, you dance like this while you use the pan, like you're shaking, or the wok. Yeah, I'd rather cook with a wok than a pan. But yeah, lo-fi jazz is also another thing that I love.
Their methods are covert and involve a variety of espionage activities, including hacking, smuggling, and tactical violence when necessary. They've also effectively established a network of safe houses and operatives who are deeply committed to the cause, often at great personal risk.
There is not gonna be a quiz, don't worry, because I won't remember half of this by tomorrow.
The chaos would be unprecedented. Then we use that turmoil to evacuate everyone we can. It will work, because it must.
Throughout Fallout 4,
it will work,
the player's
because it
interaction
must.
with the Railroad can significantly shape the narrative and the fate of many characters within the game. Their focus on the rights of synths brings a nuanced ethical dimension to the game, challenging players to consider the implications of artificial intelligence and personhood. However, their dedication to their cause makes them a polarizing force within the game's world.
Not the gorilla!
Admired by some for their commitment to liberty, and derided by
the
others
monkey!
for prioritizing synths over human concerns.
Oh, that's so sad.
Managed to get it decoded.
The Railroad helped me.
Oh God, those kooks. I would have expected they'd be too busy trying to liberate vending machines or setting computer terminals free or... Sorry. They just have something of a reputation.
Harambe, no! Harambe, no! The Minutemen? This is a freaking, I'm sorry. This is a freaking Watchmen team. I'm sorry. Wait a second. This is a Watchmen thing. What are you talking about, Fallout? Copyright infringement? God damn. Sorry. Too much caffeine in my system.
Preston Garvey, Commonwealth Minutemen.
Minutemen? So now I'm traveling backward in time.
You wonder.
That was the idea. So joined up.
Yeah.
Wanted to make a difference, and I did, but
that shouldn't have broke me, but like
now it looks like I'm the last
Minuteman
left standing.
The Minutemen are a grassroots militia group dedicated to the protection and service of the communities within the Commonwealth, a region that was once Massachusetts before the events of the Great War. They're featured prominently in Fallout 4, where they serve as one of the key factions the player can choose to support. Their narrative intertwines...
The joke came to my mind. Why does it have to be sexist? I mean, why not Minute Woman? I'm sorry, I'm making myself laugh at this point. It's just like, I don't find anyone else as funny as I find myself funny at this point in my life.
is deeply with themes of community responsibility, self-governance, and activism, echoing historical citizen militias that played pivotal roles during the American Revolutionary War.
We're citizen soldiers, the people of the Commonwealth banding together to protect ourselves and decide our own future. That was the original idea, and it was a good one. The Minutemen fell apart because our leaders forgot what we were supposed to stand for.
Hashtag Minute Equality, there we go! There we go!
Together. The group are founded in
power
during a period when the Commonwealth was terrorized by raiders and various mutant creatures. They got their name from the historical Minutemen of the American Revolution, who were known for their readiness to fight at a minute's notice. Their ideology is centered on the principles of local governance, mutual aid, and collective defense. They operate on the belief that the safety of the common people is paramount, and that security can be achieved through solidarity and cooperation among settlers.
I was with Colonel Hollis's group. A mercenary group called the Gunners was attacking Quincy. The people there called for the Minutemen to help. We were the only ones that came. The other groups, they just turned their backs on us and the folks in Quincy. Only a few...
Give them back shots then. If they turn their back on you, you give them back shots.
Few of us got out alive. Colonel Hollis was dead, so I ended up in charge of the survivors.
That did look like a Minute Woman. I mean... I can't judge anyone, okay? I'm gonna sip it.
We never found a safe place to settle. One disaster after another. You saw how it ended and conquered.
In Fallout 4, the Minutemen are introduced as a diminished force, having been nearly wiped out due to internal betrayals and external attacks.
I mean, you can only have so many factions in a game. Like, I think so far we have like 7, 8 factions. Super Mutants, the Railroad, Minutemen, we have Mr. House, we have the Brotherhood of Steel. We don't know the Minute pronouns! There's I think it's Alex Jones voice line. Okay, give me a sec. I kind of want to listen to it right now. Give me a second. I think it's like how was it? Alex Jones, I think. The soundbite, I think it is. No, I don't know, but it's like him screaming pronouns. And it's so funny. Oh, this is sad. I can't find it. Oh, no. Oh, no. I can't find it. Okay, yeah, no. It's just, yeah. It doesn't matter anymore.
Encounters them at a moment of great vulnerability and has the opportunity to rebuild the faction, potentially leading it to become the dominant force in the Commonwealth. The primary goal of the Minutemen is to provide defense for the settlements of the Commonwealth from any threat.
Hills Babyface? Hills? I don't know how to pronounce it. Let me just look that up. Oh, there we go! Okay. Okay,
Sorry, did you want to get immersed in our world? Yeah, well, guess what? Fucking pronouns!
Fucking pronouns!
exist in our world, yeah, well, guess what? Fucking pronouns! Fucking gender ambiguity! Fucking current day Californian shit! Fucking no! Boring! So fucking boring!
I'm dying! I'm dying! Pronouns! Oh, that's so funny. Oh, that's so fucking funny. Oh. That was so funny. I never seen the entire clip actually. I just knew the soundbite, like the pronouns part. Not even the fucking pronouns, the pronouns part. Oh god. Oh god, that made me heat up. Oh my god, I almost died. Pronouns. Oh no, I need to stop. I kind of wanna listen to. No, I'm gonna chill. I'm gonna calm down. I have a problem in my life that it's not a real problem, but sometimes I have laugh attacks. It's like a panic attack, but I can't stop laughing, and it's bad because it just, I don't know, I laugh and I can't stop, and it starts to hurt. Like, I don't know if you ever like had to live through that, but it's like your abs are gonna start to hurt, and I don't know, it triggers at random. So yeah, I don't want to have a laugh attack, a laugh panic attack, or whatever it is. Oh, that was so funny.
Raiders, super mutants, or any hostile entities.
Oh, thank you so much.
Their methods are characterized by the use of citizen soldiers.
Thank you so much.
Settlers equipped and trained to respond to threats collectively.
No. I like my laugh attacks, but they can be annoying to other people because it's like it goes for like 5 minutes straight without stopping, like laughing for 5 minutes straight. But I love it. It's like funny dopamine. It's pure dopamine. So yeah, no, don't worry. Henna? Oh no, thank you. It was so funny.
They're notable for their use of portable artillery pieces, which can be set up in various settlements to provide a strategic defense advantage. They are unique in their decentralized command structure. This allows for a high degree of flexibility and rapid response to threats anywhere in the Commonwealth. While the player can rise to become the general of the Minutemen, most decisions are made locally by the settlers themselves through a democratic process.
So you're just a figurehead. If you become the leader of the Minutemen, you are just a figurehead. Like, you're useless because they still make decisions without you.
That's not who I am. I can get my men through a firefight. I can defend a perimeter against all odds. But that's not going to be enough to bring the Minutemen back from the brink. We need someone who can bring the whole Commonwealth together in a common cause. And I think you've got it in you to be that leader.
Talk to Mr.
Throughout
House,
Fallout
I think.
4, the player's interactions with the Minutemen can deeply affect the power dynamics within the Commonwealth. Rebuilding the Minutemen involves rescuing settlements, building fortifications, and establishing a network of support across the region.
Henna. Okay, I'll remember that.
They can
Henna.
become a unifying force in the Commonwealth, promoting stability and cooperation among the disparate communities. The arc of the Minutemen addresses the potential for rebirth and redemption. From the ashes of their near destruction, they, with the player's help, can grow to embody the hope for a new society built on mutual respect and collective security.
I mean, you can't drink radiated water, but you can drink Nuka-Cola. Coca-Cola that's been just like nuked basically in the lab. They should, Coca-Cola, like, Coke should drop a limited edition Fallout collab that it's actually a Nuka-Cola. It would be so much fun. I would buy that straight up.
Now.
For the longest time, Mama Murphy's had a vision of a place called Sanctuary.
I'm still
Some
laughing.
old neighborhood, but one we can make new again. Why don't you come with us? I could really use your help.
What would I need to do?
You'd need to stay strong like you've been. 'Cause
There's more to your destiny. I've seen it. And I know your pain.
That's New Vegas. Entire Fallout game's storyline explained. Okay, here we go, boys! Buckle up! It's about to get thick and dense. What's going on? Dude, every time... I'm sorry, I had to pause. Every time I hear the word lore, I can't help but to think about MatPat saying that word. Lore! Like, I can't stop. It's just like, I read lore and it's just like, lore! Thanks for watching! The whole phrase, yeah. I can't stop. I can't stop it. Okay, first game. Let's go.
Developed and published by Interplay Productions, the 1997 game Fallout is the first installment in the series. Set in a post-apocalyptic future following a nuclear war, it blends elements of survival, strategy, and role-playing.
Listen, thanks for saving my life. It's a
You're welcome.
brave thing to do. Now, it looks like we've got ourselves a situation here. I know Gizmo's behind this, but I need proof. You interested in helping?
The game plays out in a post-apocalyptic Southern California, in the aftermath of the Great War. The setting, referred to as the Wasteland.
But that's just a theory. A game theory. Thanks for watching. Like, I don't know how... Dude, that shatters my voice every time I do it, but I love it. It's so funny. And it's just a classic YouTube line, I guess. God, I love that.
Is a harsh environment with remnants of a pre-war civilization scattered among new factional settlements and dominated by mutated creatures. The player character, commonly referred to as the Vault Dweller, begins the game in Vault 13. As explained in my previous video, the Vaults were part of a nationwide project created by the US government.
Yes, like, there are like 122 vaults in total, and some of them didn't work at all. They're all dead, and I think it's a total of like 50 or 30, I can't remember exactly. We watched the previous video the day before yesterday. My opinion on cucumbers, I'm sorry, I got distracted. Your name, I'm gonna call you Gring, if you don't mind, because I can't pronounce that whole name. My opinion on cucumbers, and you dropped a pineapple emoji, so I'm gonna give you my opinion on both. I love cucumbers, and I just can straight up eat them without cutting them. So yeah, I am the throat goat of cucumbers. And pineapple, I'm gonna say something controversial. Pineapple belongs on pizza. I'm sorry, wait. We're gonna do this. Pineapple belongs on pizza. There you go. I'm also cooking pasta. Oh no. Oh, you dumped all the cheese in it? All the cheese! Well, you know, I'm happy I could be a distraction and I could cause that accident. Also, I am so sorry for the waste of cheese. But not so much because I'm allergic to cheese, so... you know? Yep.
Government to protect selected citizens from nuclear fallout.
Can eat cheese.
In 2161, approximately 84 years after the Great War, Vault 13's water chip, responsible for the water recycling machinery, breaks. Without it, the Vault's water supply will cease to function, threatening the survival of those inside.
Oh, just like, this happens in the show too. Like the water filter or something like that, it stops working. But it doesn't matter really because they don't address it, but it's way too similar.
And so, the Vault Dweller is tasked with finding a replacement water chip within 150
So it was sabotage?
days.
I mean, my anti-cheese powers work pretty good, okay? I'm pretty good with anti-cheese powers.
Before the water supply runs out.
Simply put.
Also, I mean, there's a lot of variety when it comes to cheese, but I never understood the people that like those smelly and awful cheeses, like those that just like penetrate your nostrils and destroy your senses. I never have I ever understood that, honestly.
But we're running out of drinking water. No water, no vault. This is crucial to our survival.
Dude.
Frankly, I think
what
you're
the
the only
frig is...
hope we have. You need to go find us.
You know, people make fun of people that have large foreheads. This guy has the tiniest forehead ever.
Controller chip. We estimate we have 4 to 5
the water
months
chip.
before the vault runs out of water.
Yeah.
We need that chip.
This urgent quest sets the player off into the wasteland, interacting with various groups and individuals.
Yeah, I hate blue
As the Vault
cheese.
Dweller explores the
I
wasteland,
hate it so
they
much.
encounter various factions and settlements, including Shady Sands, a small farming community that faces threats from Rad Scorpion attacks and raiders. Here, the player can improve the community's defenses and deal with their pest problem.
Oh my, yes. Great packs of rad scorpions are killing our herds. We don't know where they're from, and no matter how many we kill, there's always more.
There's also Junktown, a town built from the remnants of old junk, where governance and law enforcement are central themes.
That's like
the player
Philly
gets involved
in
in
the show.
local politics and can influence the power dynamics within the town.
All right, we can do this. But you work.
Can
for
we do this?
me.
Wait. This guy is also in the show. It's part of the Enclave, I think. I'm not sure. Maybe my lore is not quite accurate, but this guy, like, there's a similar looking guy in the show.
Oh, that nobody ever double crosses Gizmo and lives to talk about it.
Oh, Gizmo is just such a beta
There's
name.
the Hub, a bustling trade city where the
Sorry.
player can engage in extensive trading and
Sorry if
take
you're
on
called
mercenary
Gizmo.
work. It's here that the player learns more about the water chip and the broader world. We also have the Brotherhood of Steel, a technologically advanced group, initially distrustful
The
of
Brotherhood of
outsiders.
Steel, let's
But
go,
the Vault
baby!
Dweller can earn their trust and gain access to advanced equipment and support. Through exploration and
What,
interaction,
Gizmo?
the player
Gizmo has a
eventually
lot
locates
more
the water
forehead
chip
than
and the ghoul-infested
the other
ruins of the necropolis.
small forehead guy. Not this guy. How
It's
you
working.
like? What's your name? Doesn't. No. Well,
And it
small
looks
forehead.
like
It's
we
your
have
name.
a winner. You've saved us. You've done it.
After retrieving the chip and ensuring the survival of Vault 13, the player returns to the vault, only to be sent out again by the Overseer to investigate and stop
Oh, that's
much
the
greater
Overseer,
threat,
probably.
a mysterious
Yeah, makes
army
sense.
that is kidnapping and mutating people.
As long as someone is creating hostile mutants at this rate, the Vault's safety is at stake. Find and destroy this lab as soon as you can.
It's not long before the vault...
I mean, dude, you have a vault that can literally withstand a nuclear blast centimeters apart. But some, like, a few hundred super mutants are gonna just tear it down. Doesn't make sense to me, okay? It just doesn't make sense to me.
Vault Dweller discovers the existence of the super mutants, mutated humans who are stronger, tougher, and sterile. The mutants are being created by the Master, who is mutated by the forced evolutionary virus. We learn the Master is located in a pre-war military installation known as the Mariposa Military Base, and he aims to transform
The
all
Butterfly
humanity into super
military
mutants
base.
to end human conflict.
All that
resist.
Yes. And all those that are required for the
Unity
as well.
It's so
The
creepy.
remainder will be allowed to live out their
I
days.
love it.
But under
Unity. Control.
and protection.
but none shall breed, for they will be the last of their race.
The climax of the game involves the player infiltrating Mariposa to confront and stop the Master. The player can either choose to engage in combat with the Master and his forces, convince the Master that his plan is flawed due to the sterility of the mutants, or set off a nuclear device to destroy the
Oh,
base.
simple. Oblivion or talk about it. Jeez, he died.
Upon defeating the Master, the Vault Dweller returns to Vault 13. Depending on the player's choices throughout the game, different endings can unfold for each settlement and faction encountered. But the canonical ending has the Vault Dweller exiled from Vault 13 for being too adapted to the outside world.
No, that's not fair. We did everything for you, and now you're exiling me? What a bunch of a-holes! What a bunch of a-holes! You do everything for them, and they exile you? Go to hell.
Leading to the founding of a new community,
Fuck off and
Arroyo,
die.
setting the stage for Fallout 2.
There's no way the people of the Vault can ever thank you enough for what you've done. You've
That's why we're
saved
gonna
all
exile
our
you.
lives. Who knows? Maybe even save the human race. That makes the rest of this even harder. Everyone will want to talk to you. Every youngster will look up to you and want to emulate you. And then what? They'll want to leave. What happens to the Vault if we lose the best of a generation? What if we are the only safe place in the world? You just gave us back all these lives. I can't take the chance of losing them.
Fallout 2, okay. Here we go. More lore. More lore. Again, with this similar style cinematic. Sounds like my company, a lot of us got let go from our... I'm so sorry to hear about that. Well, I'm actually struggling to find a job myself, so... we are all in a similar boat, I think. Yeah, but... Yeah, it's similar. It's eerily similar. That's a bra face, if I ever seen one. Like, right next to the camera, like, bruh. Can I... Bruh. Dude, look at it. What the frick? That wasn't supposed to be funny, but it was!
Released in 1998 by Black Isle Studios, Fallout 2 serves as a direct sequel. The game expands upon the lore, settings, and systems introduced in the first game, while setting up a new saga with the Vault Dweller's descendant, the Chosen One. Fallout 2 is set in 2241, 80 years after the events of the first game.
Good luck with the job hunting. Yeah, he wanted a selfie, definitely. Yeah, just like, yeah, sure. Oh no, dude, it's been tough. I'm asking around, but it's not easy. So I'm hoping. I'm not gonna lose hope. And good luck to you. I don't know if you're job hunting right now or whatever you're doing, but good luck to you too.
164 years after the Great War. It takes place in a larger expanse of what...
I just thought of a joke. He wanted to know if you had like games on your phone. Do you have any games on your phone? Mom said it's my turn to play with the Xbox.
What was Northern California, which has seen more development and diversification among settlements.
Marcus, help build the place. Now I'm sheriff. After the Master and the Vats were destroyed, I wandered a bit. No place to go. One day got attacked by this fool wearing power armor. And that was Jacob, from the Brotherhood of Steel. He'd sworn some oath to destroy muties. We tussled for a while.
You're welcome, don't worry.
Probably a day or two. After a while, we just started laughing. What was the point?
The protagonist of Fallout 2 is the Chosen One, a direct descendant of the original game's Vault Dweller. The Chosen One hails from Arroyo, the tribal village founded by the Vault Dweller after their exile from Vault 13. Arroyo, however, has fallen on hard times due to a severe drought and the failing health of the village's elder, the Chosen One's grandmother.
Its canyons sheltering it from the outside world.
This is way more complicated than I thought it would be. I was hoping for something more simple, but this is interesting, honestly.
It is home. Your home. But the scars left by the war have not yet healed, and the Earth has not forgotten.
Our quest begins with the need to retrieve a Garden of Eden creation kit, a piece of pre-war technology designed to rapidly create a livable environment from the wasteland, and is believed to be located in the now sealed Vault 13, the original home of the Vault Dweller. The Chosen One's journey takes them across a variety of locations and communities, each with its own challenges and stories.
The old discs speak of an item called the Garden of Eden Creation Kit. It is said it can bring life to the wasteland.
That's not creepy at all.
This will be your quest, if you prove yourself worthy. For that proof, you must first journey to the Temple of Trials. If you survive, come back to me. We will talk more.
That's way too convoluted,
Our life
though.
is in your hands, Chosen One. Prove yourself. Find the Gek. Be our salvation.
Jesus.
Throughout their journey, the player also encounters various factions, groups, and locations. From New Reno, a lawless town known for its organized crime families, drugs, and debauchery. Vault City, a prosperous but xenophobic and elitist community formed around a functional vault. The New California Republic, an expanding democratic federation that stands as...
Yeah, we basically are Anakin Skywalker in this game. The second game, yeah, we're the Chosen One. Although being I don't know if I would want to be Anakin Skywalker, because, you know, just like you turn up evil and you end up killing a lot of kids. It's just, I don't know.
One of the most powerful forces in the wasteland. And Broken Hills, a unique settlement inhabited by humans, mutants, and ghouls, striving for peaceful coexistence.
Actually, they worked almost exactly the way they were supposed to. You might call it a social experiment on a grand scale. The vaults were set up to test humanity. Some had not enough food synthesizers. Others had only men in them. Yet others were designed to open after only 6 months. They each had a unique set of circumstances designed to test the occupants.
But weren't the vaults designed to also ensure the perpetuation of humanity? Why would you just absolutely destroy them psychologically, spiritually, and physically? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Vault 13 was a special case. It was supposed to remain closed until the subjects were needed. Vault 13 was, in scientific parlance, a control group.
So a Mr. Beast video, but for all of humanity. Yeah, Hannah. Yep, exactly. Yep, it's Mr. Beast in 10 years. I dropped 10,000 nuclear bombs in the United States to recreate Fallout 3.
The central antagonist of Fallout 2 is the Enclave, a secretive and technologically advanced organization composed of remnants of the US government and their descendants. Their plans are revealed to involve the eradication of all irradiated individuals, humans, ghouls, and mutants, to reclaim the mainland for themselves, deemed as the only pure humans left. The group have found to be using Vault 13's inhabitants and the people of Arroyo as test subjects for their new FEV variant.
As it turns out, we needed test subjects from untainted pre-war human stock, your ancestors in Vault 13, and some freshly mutated stock, the villagers from Arroyo. It's almost ready. Humanity's salvation is almost at hand, and the United States of America will be the progenitor of that rebirth.
The Chosen One ultimately discovers that the Enclave is located on an offshore oil rig. The climax involves the Chosen One infiltrating the rig, freeing captured villagers and vault dwellers, and confronting the Enclave's leader, President Dick Richardson. They then set the rig to self-destruct, ensuring the Enclave's plans.
Dick Richardson, really? He's Dick. He's Dick Dickinson. Like, Richard, like the short version of Richard is Dick. And Dick Richardson would be Dick Dickinson. Can you imagine being such an asshole to your kid and put it, like, calling him Dick Dickinson?
Thwarted.
What the? Okay. What?
You haven't won here. You and your muty bastard friends are gonna join me in a big ol' mushroom cloud send-off. I just triggered...
Straight up, dude. They didn't care for him, Dick Dickinson. Come on. It's just like too much. I mean, it's also part of the Fallout world, as I understand it, that dry comedy, I guess. Like, that comedy that doesn't need to be, like, laughed at by the characters, but you laugh at it. At least that's what I got from the show and the games being explained to me.
The self-destruct.
Kaboom.
Fallout 2 concludes with the Chosen One returning as the hero of Arroyo, where the GECK is used to transform the struggling village into a prosperous settlement. The game then ends with a series of slides showing the outcomes and future developments of the various factions and locations the Chosen One interacted with, shaped by the player's choices in the game.
Let's see.
After the Enclave's destruction, the refugees of Arroyo and Vault 13 resettled, building a new community with the aid of the Garden of Eden Creation Kit. Your help with Vault 15 launched the New California Republic's push to civilize its neighbors. With the support of the New California Republic, the Vault 15 squatters soon became self-sufficient.
And there's like 12,000 different kinds of apples. So radioactive, we can add one more to the mix. It wouldn't hurt.
And productive members of society. By eliminating the death clause of Vault 13, you banished yet another species of the realms of extinction, proving once again that genocide is a viable solution to any problem.
No, I never said that. No. No. YouTube monetization or whatever. YouTube guidelines, please. I never said that, okay? Oh god, no. Dude, 10 years. Yeah, they went full Anakin. 10 years between the second and the third game, that's a lot. I wasn't even conscious in 2008. I was like a freaking child. I was a dumbass. Okay, so peace didn't last, apparently.
Released in 2008 by Bethesda Game Studios, Fallout 3 marked a significant evolution in the series by introducing 3D graphics and a first-person perspective. It shifted the traditional isometric view and brought the post-apocalyptic world to life with vivid detail and an expansive open-world environment.
Okay. Showing off.
The game is set in the capital Wasteland, covering Washington, D.C. and the surrounding areas. It begins in the year 2277, 200 years after the Great War, and about 36 years after the events of Fallout 2. Unlike previous games focused on the West Coast, Fallout 3 explores the East Coast of the post-apocalyptic US, providing a fresh setting with its own unique factions and challenges.
Fair enough.
Come on over here. I want to show you something.
What the why are we tiny?
It was your mother's favorite passage.
Why are we so tiny?
Revelation 21:6. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. I will give unto him that is athirst of the fountain of the water of life freely. She always loved that. All right, come on. Let's go see if your little friend Amada wants to play.
What the frick?
The protagonist,
kind
known
of
as the Lone Wanderer, is born in Vault 101.
It's me in 2008. Yeah, I mean, probably I was... I don't know, I'm not that tall, but I was kind of tiny.
A shelter that, unlike many others, never opens its doors to the outside world. The game begins with the Lone Wanderer's life in the vault, showing key moments of their childhood and adolescence. However, the tranquility is disrupted when the Lone Wanderer's father, James, mysteriously disappears from the vault, leading to chaos and the breakdown of its social order.
It's our only one person missing and they all go apeshit. Sure, okay. Okay, yeah.
Chance, don't you see? We're getting out of here, just like the doctor. I'm not gonna let anyone stop us. It's me.
Tom, be careful!
He died.
Tom, no!
She's dead too?
The main quest effectively revolves around the Lone Wanderer's search for their father, leading them to venture into the capital Wasteland. The journey leads the protagonist to various locations, including the town of Megaton, the ruins of downtown DC, and Rivet City, a settlement built within an old aircraft carrier.
Okay. My husband started this group not long ago. He was trying to save them from a life of hardship and ridicule. They come from all over the wasteland now to find us and become part of the family.
We are a badass gang, and we don't take shit from nobody.
Oh,
Along
that's
the way,
kind of cringe.
the player encounters various groups and factions, including the Brotherhood of Steel, the Enclave, and various other smaller communities and gangs. We eventually...
Tom Holden, I see. It has a lot of name puns. It's like, not hidden comedy, but almost, like, on plain sight. Hidden on plain sight comedy, I think.
Discover that James left Vault 101 to restart Project Purity, a pre-war initiative aimed at providing clean water by purifying the heavily irradiated waters of the Potomac River. The initiative is based in the Jefferson Memorial, which James believes can be made functional with the right technology and resources.
Project Purity, we called it. It was simple, really. Fresh, clean water for everyone. Such a simple idea, and yet so impossible to realize. The plan was to build a facility that could purify all the water in the tidal basin at once. No radiation, no muck, just clear water. It just turned out to be more difficult than we anticipated.
I mean,
as the Lone
you don't
Wanderer
say,
and their
really?
father work to get Project Purity operational. The Enclave reasserts its presence in the wasteland, seeing the purified water as a way to exert control. Unfortunately, James sacrifices himself to prevent the Enclave from capturing the project by flooding the facility's control room with the radiation.
Oh.
I grow tired of waiting.
It'll only be a few more moments.
To complete Project
sacrificed.
Purity, the Lone Wanderer needs to find a Garden of Eden creation kit, leading them to Vault 87,
Another Garden
which
of
is
Eden?
heavily irradiated and controlled by super mutants. After acquiring it, the player is captured by the Enclave, but manages to escape their base with the help of the Brotherhood of Steel.
Is that a freezing grenade? Yeah, apparently.
Objective is secured, sir.
Good work, soldier. Make sure the Gek is secured aboard my vertibird.
The climax involves a joint attack
Yeah,
on
more
the
friends.
Jefferson Memorial.
Actually,
with
the Brotherhood of Steel is pretty cool, but in the show they're kind of assholes, but they are progressively becoming more assholes as the games go on, so it makes sense. But I really like the Brotherhood of Steel. Also, they have a really cool name.
To install the GECK and activate Project Purity, the
God
player
damn.
must decide whether to sacrifice himself or send a companion to input the activation code in the highly irradiated control chamber, changing the fate of the capital wasteland forever.
Well, so much for celebrating. One of us is going to have to go in there and turn the damn thing on, and whoever does it isn't coming back out. So, what should we do? Draw straws? I won't forget what you've done here. No one will. Thank you.
Okay, we are sacrificing ourselves, I guess. Great. Is that a person in there? What the fuck?
Fallout 3 ends with the player's decision at Project Purity, defining the destiny of the wasteland, underscored by a series of narrated images and videos that reflect the consequences of their actions in the game.
And so it was that the Lone Wanderer ventured forth from Vault 101, intent on discovering the fate of a father who had once sacrificed the future of humanity for that of his only child. The capital wasteland proved a cruel, inhospitable place, but the lone wanderer
All for less tasty
to
water.
to the vices that had claimed so many
basically.
others.
Okay, Fallout 4? No, New Vegas. New Vegas is one of the biggest Fallout games ever, not in size necessarily, but in scope, I think. It's just insane.
You are a courier, hired by the Mojave Express to deliver a package to the New Vegas Strip. What seemed like a simple delivery job has taken a turn for the worse.
Released in 2010 by Obsidian Entertainment, Fallout New Vegas offers a return to the series' roots, with a focus on complex narratives, rich character development, and significant player choice, reminiscent of the earlier games developed by Black Isle Studios.
Is there gambling in it? I think there is, actually. I wouldn't be... It has a lot of options, okay? Fallout New Vegas is just so vast that I think it probably has gambling. Don't quote me on that. Cool.
The game is set in the Mojave Wasteland, which includes the city of New Vegas and its surrounding desert areas, in the year 2281, 4 years after the events of Fallout 3. It intertwines traditional Fallout themes with a new setting and a compelling narrative centered around factional conflict and personal revenge.
You've made your last delivery, kid.
Oh no.
Sorry you got twisted up in this scene.
This is the opening scene, actually.
From where you're kneeling must seem like an 18-carat run of bad luck. Truth is, the game was rigged from the start.
That's also a famous
The player character,
quote.
known as the Courier, is ambushed, shot in the head, and left for dead while transporting a mysterious item called the Platinum Chip. The story begins with the Courier being rescued by a robot named Victor and treated by Doc Mitchell in the town of Goodsprings. The Courier's initial quest revolves around recovering the stolen Platinum Chip and uncovering the identity of their assailant.
First deadbeat we hired to do the job canceled. Yeah, I got this look when he saw you next down on the courier list. His expression turned right around. Asked me if your name was for real. I said, sure as like a rain, you were still kicking. Then he turned down the job, just like that. I asked if he was sure it was good money. No, let Courier 6 carry the package. That's what he said. Like the Mojave'd sort you out or something.
Their investigation leads them to New Vegas, a vibrant city that has miraculously survived the nuclear apocalypse relatively intact. This was thanks to the efforts of Mr. House, a mysterious and reclusive pre-war business magnate who preserved himself in the city using advanced technology.
Had I used an armed caravan to transport the chip, I might as well have been announcing to the world, this is important, attack this. I didn't want to attract the attention of groups like the Great Khans or the Brotherhood of Steel. Alas, the real threat was closer to home.
The Courier eventually discovers that their attacker is Benny, a high-ranking member of the Chairman Gang, who wants the Platinum Chip for his own purposes and to seize control of New Vegas from Mr. House.
It has something to do with the Securitrons. I know that much. Upgrades their hitting power, gives them heft.
I mean, yeah, you could survive as an introvert, but the problem is you would have to have a lot of money. And when I say a lot of money is Jeff Bezos levels of money, you know, like Elon Musk levels of money. You need to be rich as fuck.
Might be slightly
Which I'm
useful if you're looking to defend the Strip from Caesar's Legion or the NCR. Or maybe both.
As the story unfolds, the Courier becomes embroiled in a complex power struggle among several factions vying for control, including the New California Republic, a democratic federation based in California, seeking to restore order and expand its influence into Nevada. Caesar's Legion, a brutal autocratic slaver society led by the...
That's the dumbest. Wait a second, they have shotguns? You said they were fighting with swords! You lied to me!
Charismatic and ruthless Caesar, who aims to conquer the Mojave and crush all opposition. Mr. House, the enigmatic ruler of New Vegas, who plans to use the Platinum Chip to activate an army of Securitron robots and maintain his autocratic control over the city. And we also have the Brotherhood of Steel, Great Khans, and other minor factions that play roles in the region's politics, each with their own goals and agendas.
The time is fast approaching when my legion will assault the Great Dam and invade the West. Before that happens, I want Mr. House knocked out of the game. A quick 1-2 punch, with you doing the punching.
The central conflict revolves around control of the Hoover Dam, a critical source of power and water, where the forces of the NCR, Caesar's Legion, and the Courier's chosen allies clash in a decisive conflict. The Courier must decide which faction to support in the impending battle for the dam, a choice that will determine the future of the Mojave Wasteland. The game offers the option to side with any of the major factions, or to strike out on their own and control New Vegas independently.
Huh. That's fun. That's like 4 interesting endings. Whoa. That's pretty cool.
Fallout New Vegas concludes with a detailed epilogue that describes the consequences of the Courier's decisions for the various communities and factions. The endings vary significantly based on who controls New Vegas and the Hoover Dam, the resolution of numerous side quests, and the fates of the many characters the Courier encounters.
And so the Courier who had cheated death in the cemetery outside Goodsprings cheated death once again, and the Mojave Wasteland was forever changed. In the new world of the Mojave Wasteland, fighting continued, blood was spilled, and many lived and died just as they had in the old world. Because war never changes.
Now at Fallout 4. Yeah, let's go! That's the only Fallout I lived through. Like, I saw gameplay
Released
of
in
it.
2015 by Bethesda Game Studios, Fallout 4...
They sure take their time between Fallouts, and they usually are pretty good.
Continues the saga with advanced graphics, deeper customization, and a new setting in the post-apocalyptic region of the Commonwealth, based around the American state of Massachusetts. The game introduces many new features, including an expansive crafting system and the ability to build and manage settlements. Fallout 4 uniquely begins on the day the bombs fell in 2077, showing life before the apocalypse.
If you haven't noticed, ma'am, this country has gone to heck in a handbasket. The big kaboom it's inevitable, I'm afraid, and coming sooner than you may think. If you catch my meaning, I'm here today to tell you that because of your family's service to our country, you have been pre-selected for entrance into the local vault. Vault 111.
The protagonist, referred to as the sole survivor...
Yeah, definitely. Taking time between games is usually a really good sign. The problem is, then you have the fiasco of Fallout 76, which was an online-only game, and you get to that shitty thing. But also, yeah, like, I don't know, Call of Duty and Battlefield releasing every year, or FIFA, Madden, NBA, they never improve because they don't have time to improve. Assassin's Creed went through the same thing of releasing almost every single year, and the games got shittier and shittier. It's good to take time between creations because you can learn and grow and improve on it. The problem with games is you can only improve so much sometimes in certain departments, like graphic departments. It's just like, how much better can ray tracing and path tracing get? Why did Harambe have to die in Fallout? I mean, there is a reason, I think, but I don't know. I don't know if I should tell it. I don't know if I should tell you. Harambe died for our sins and for you to like, comment, and subscribe. No, just kidding. Just kidding. I think you can go back if you play Fallout 2 and save Harambe. You don't have to kill it. I mean, the poor freaking gorilla doesn't have to die.
Resides in Sanctuary Hills with their spouse, their son Sean, and their robot butler Codsworth. After watching a news report about bombs being dropped, the family rushes to the nearby Vault 111.
Oh no. We do have coming in. That's
Confirmed reports, I repeat, confirmed reports of nuclear detonations in New York and Pennsylvania. My God.
We need to get to the vault. Now!
It opened
They're admitted
automatically.
entry as part of a cryogenic experiment under the guise of shelter from the bombs. The
Yeah,
sole survivor
Harambe can be
awakens
saved, I'm
intermittently
pretty sure.
from cryogenic sleep, only to witness the murder of their spouse and the kidnapping of their son by unknown assailants.
Are we okay?
Almost. Everything's going to be fine. I got it. Let the boy go. I'm only going to tell you once. I'm not giving you short.
Okay.
Get out of here. Let's go. At least we still have the backup.
After a long period,
The backup?
they fully
What the
awaken to find that the
frick?
Vault's life support systems are failing, forcing them to escape into the post-apocalyptic world to search for Sean. The rest of the game is set in the Commonwealth in the year 2287, approximately...
Wait. This structure, this whole thing you see here, yeah, I mean, it's a pretty useful narrative tool. That's what I think. But this setting here is in the show, actually, like a similar gas station. I think this is a gas station. So yeah, I mean, if you think about it, like, The Last of Us has a daughter, father relation. Doom? I don't know if Doom has one. I think Doom... Was it a bunny or was it a kid that the Doom Slayer lost? I can't remember. But it's a pretty common trope.
10 years after the events of Fallout 3 and 6 years after Fallout New Vegas. Upon emerging, the player encounters a world drastically changed by nuclear war and time. Here, they come across various factions that exert control over the Commonwealth, from the Minutemen, a group of citizen militia aimed at protecting settlements from raiders and other threats, the Brotherhood of Steel, the militant group with strict policies about hoarding and controlling old-world technology and eliminating non-human entities, the Railroad, a secretive organization dedicated to freeing synthetic humans from the control of the Institute, and the Institute, a mysterious and technologically advanced
I
organization
think this is the game where we kill Harambe, actually.
and is rumored to replace humans with
I don't know.
duplicates in the
Maybe
Commonwealth.
it's the second one.
The main quest revolves around the sole survivor's search for Sean and their encounters with the major factions. As the survivor delves deeper into the mystery, they learn that Sean is not only alive, but he's also the current leader of the Institute.
What?
There's no going back, Sean. The Institute has to be stopped.
And you've decided
Oh, that's our kid.
for yourself. Or has it been fed to you by the corrupt societies above ground?
Huh.
It's not enough that I lay here dying. Now you plan on what? Destroying everything? Tell me then. Under what righteous pretense have you justified this atrocity?
The player must navigate complex moral and ethical questions, particularly concerning the fate of the synths, who were treated as second-class citizens or worse by many in the Commonwealth.
Why do you hate super mutants so much?
They're responsible for the death of a close friend, a Brotherhood knight named Cutler. So when you ask if I hate them, I say hate's too gentle a word. These monstrosities are just another example of man blindly taking a step forward, only to wind up stumbling 2 steps back. I've seen what these super mutants do to people. Can you imagine what the synths would do to us if they ever got the upper hand?
They must decide whether to join the Institute in their goal to harness advanced technology to remake the world, support the Brotherhood's mission to control or destroy all synths, aid the Railroad in freeing them from human oppression, or lead the Minutemen in establishing a network of independent, self-sufficient communities.
I wonder how the Warwick family is doing, young Wally.
I don't hate super mutants. I super hate them. I ultra hate them.
Must be close to 10 years old by now.
Those people are the last remnants of a dying past. It's best not to dwell on the subject.
They're still people, and they're suffering. We can at least admit that it's regrettable. After all, how can we hope to redefine mankind if we can't even hold on to our own humanity?
Well, that's a question best left to our colleagues in the robotics division.
Yes, well, I suppose you're right.
The game reaches its climax with a series of decisive battles involving the chosen faction. These battles determine the future leadership and balance of power in the Commonwealth. As a result, the player's choices impact the lives of all involved, shaping the future of the region.
Dr. Ingram has assured me that we'll be outside the blast radius. Press that button, and you not only defeat our enemy, you restore order and decency to the Commonwealth. It's time, Paladin. The Institute and their synth abominations must be eradicated.
Holy shit. Oh my god.
Fallout 4 ends with the survivor reflecting on their decisions and the impact they've had on the Commonwealth. The game continues to allow exploration, side quests, and settlement building post-main story completion, emphasizing the ongoing challenges in a world striving to rebuild.
This was not the world I wanted.
Well...
It was the one I found myself in.
I'm sorry, buddy.
The Commonwealth. My home. Ripped apart and put back together. I thought I hoped I could find my family. Cheat time. Make us whole again.
Has to end on a bad shot always.
I know I can't go back. I know the world has changed. The road ahead will be hard. This time I'm ready.
Okay.
Because I know war. War never changes.
War never changes. It's like the 4th time we heard that. Oh, the newest Fallout. This is, I think, the
Released
worst
in
one.
2018 by Bethesda Game Studios, Fallout 76 represents a significant departure from previous entries by focusing on an online multiplayer experience. Set in the hills of West Virginia, it predates the other games, beginning just 25 years after the Great War. It explores the early post-apocalyptic world before many of the societies and factions seen in later games have formed.
Those chosen to enter this vault must be our best and our brightest. For when the fighting is stopped and the fallout has settled, you must rebuild.
He said the name of the game!
Not just walls, not just buildings, but hearts and minds. And ultimately, America itself.
America.
So as we stand here today,
America!
the world will know peace. But if that is not our destiny, if war must come, we stand together, knowing that here in Vault 76, our future begins.
It's retro punk, I think. It's like futuristic, but that was explained, I think, in the previous video that we watched, that it's like technology advances a lot in the Fallout universe, but it stays stuck in the aesthetic part, because you have like synthetics and like AI and everything, but the look is retro. I think that's like retro punk, retro futuristic punk, or whatever it is.
The game begins on Reclamation Day, 2102. Players take on the role of residents of Vault 76.
This also was shown in the TV show, I think.
One of the first vaults to open after the Great War.
It's hipster and
Vault 76
retro?
was designed
Yeah,
as a control vault, with 500 occupants intended to repopulate the region, chosen for their skills, intelligence, and integrity. The game begins as the vault opens, and the players are tasked with reclaiming the wasteland.
There were 3 active nuclear silos in Appalachia before the bombs fell. They blew up the world before. We can't let it happen again. So we've got to locate and secure all of the silos. Or die trying. Hopefully the former.
Upon leaving, players are given their first objective through holotapes left by the Vault's overseer, who has gone ahead to secure a nuclear silo to prevent it from falling into the wrong hands. We then follow in the overseer's footsteps, piecing together their journey and the fate of other early survivors in the region through logs and recorded messages.
Reverend Delbert Winters here, born and raised in this very town. Lent my own church to the Responders for their outpost here, and you're welcome. The Responders are on a true mission, you see. Helping folks through thick and thin, till the heavens
I thought
open
we
up
were
again
going to die, like,
take us all
right
up
there.
anyways. Then, in my despair, I saw some survivors eating raw rat carcass behind the dumpster. You gotta cook that first, I warned them. We tried but got sick, they said, covered in their own filth. I realized right then and there that I was being tasked.
As players explore, they uncover the primary threat to the region, the Scorched, humanoid figures afflicted with a mutagenic plague that renders them feral and hostile.
Scorched things are everywhere. I kept quiet. They didn't see me. I managed to observe them for a bit. Whatever this disease is, it seems to completely take over its host. The ones that used to be human, eventually they go rigid, like some kind of stasis. And if they stay like that for too long, they sort of burn up from the inside out. Vesuvius in reverse.
The plague is also linked to a mysterious new creature called the Scorch Beast, a bat-like enemy that poses a major threat to anyone in the open.
Cool.
Throughout the journey, players encounter traces of factions that tried to make a go of it in the immediate aftermath of the war. There's the Responders, a group of firefighters, police officers, and medical professionals who banded together to help survivors. The Free States, a group of survivalists who predicted the war and retreated to bunkers, emerging later to find the world changed. The Brotherhood of Steel, and the Raiders, various bands of marauders and outlaws who take what they want without regard for others.
Welcome, General, to the Command Center. This space served many purposes. Armory, archives, education center. But its most critical role was its connection to the local nuclear missiles. If you wish to acquaint yourself with their intricacies...
Oh no, I kinda wanna remain outside the teams. I kinda wanna see everything happen, but not interact with anyone. Nuclear keycards, launch codes. Oh,
a
that's
significant
cool.
gameplay element involves the ability to launch nuclear weapons.
Giving them
Players
out
can
like
find
candy?
codes to access missile silos and launch them at various parts of the map. This act creates high-level zones where players can find rare and valuable resources, but also significantly increases the difficulty of the affected areas. Since its release, Fallout 76 has been updated regularly with new content, quests, events, and entire plot lines, including the introduction of NPCs and additional factions in updates like Wastelanders and Steel Dawn.
Dude, this game has like hundreds of factions. I'm just so done with it. Like, stop adding factions, or at least kill some of them, and add new ones.
These have expanded the initial narrative, adding more depth and traditional Fallout storytelling elements to the game. Unlike previous...
Sharing is caring, especially with nuclear launch codes. I straight up see that happening in like the Fallout universe. Remember, sharing is caring. That's why we share with you nuclear launch codes.
Games, the story of Fallout 76 is largely driven by player interaction and exploration, rather than a central narrative thread. This approach emphasizes survival and rebuilding in a world still reeling from nuclear devastation.
Attention. Attention. Launch is activated. Launch
I am become death, destroyer of worlds.
All personnel should exit the launch tube immediately.
What is happening? I mean, yeah, we killed a lot of people.
The Fallout series is an influential work in the realm of video games, offering not only a critique of nuclear war and its aftermath, but also a playground for exploring the complexities of human nature and civilization. It challenges players to make difficult choices that affect the world around them, encapsulating the best elements of interactive storytelling and immersive gameplay. As the series continues to evolve, it remains a poignant reminder of the potential consequences of human folly and the unyielding quest for hope amidst
I think
despair.
you're looking a little
Through
bit
its
too deep
compelling
into
narrative, innovative gameplay, and rich world-building, Fallout has carved out a permanent niche in both gaming history and the hearts of its many fans.
knew that he wanted to make an RPG where the player had a lot of choice in what they did, and we, I think as a group, came up with the idea that you could talk or fight or steal your way through the whole game, which was kind of a revolutionary idea in those days.
Now, the interesting thing about Leonard is he's kind of a dark guy. Everything's kind of gloomy. So I told him, I said, if we make this game, I don't want it to be all depressing. There's got to be a humor to it. And that turned out to be something
I was
the
right.
special sauce, because we ended up with this world that's funny, but very morbidly funny.
Yeah.
It was a pretty big responsibility taking on such a beloved franchise, something that belonged to a different creative group. And frankly, I personally was pretty shocked at how well it was received. I think that speaks to how unique Fallout is, because even though it's a post-apocalyptic game, it's a dark world to spend time in. There's also so much character to it, and there's a quirkiness to it, an undertone of goofiness and humor that kind of lightens things a little bit. And I think people really sort of like that contrast.
When Todd Howard walked out on stage and announced Fallout 4,
oh, hi, Todd.
The crowd went insane.
There are very few things as good as Fallout.
And half of them are all dressed up in cosplay, and it was really, truly in that moment sitting in the Dolby where I realized how important Fallout 3 had actually been.
When that last video played at the showcase, it was the most amazing feeling. You know, we had done it. It's hard to describe just how tight-knit this small team of people was, pulling together to do great things. Like, it hits differently. I get a little emotional, actually, thinking about
I can see
all the stuff that we did together. Yeah, no, it was an awesome time.
Okay, that's the end of this video. Okay, if I had to do like a ranking of the games, I would say Fallout New Vegas, it's like at the top. Then Fallout 3, 4, 2, 76, and 1. Story-wise, at least. That's my ranking. From not having played a single one of those games. Absolutely based of my part. Wait. I'm looking for something. Favorite clan from Fallout? I think the Brotherhood of Steel is my favorite. Honestly, if I have to be like completely honest. Yeah. I think the Brotherhood of Steel I like the Minutemen. It's kind of cool, but also kind of lame. So, meh. Mr. House is pretty interesting, I think. I can't remember the name of not the railroad, the ones that the Enclave. Also, the Enclave. But the Enclave, it's interesting to me. Not my favorite. The Brotherhood of Steel, top one. But yeah, I think 2 hours and 8 minutes almost I've been doing this. So I think for today we're done. Tomorrow I'm going to play and try to speedrun a Rage game for about an hour or two. And yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do after that. But before we go... Before we go... Before we go, I need to watch it again.
Did you want to get immersed in our world? Yeah, well, guess what? Fucking pronouns! Fucking gender ambiguity! Day Californian shit! We fucking know! Because we're boring! We're so fucking
boring! Pronouns! That's so funny! so funny. Anyways, thank you everybody so much for watching, commenting, liking, whatever you did. I'll see ya tomorrow. Memento 3. Bye bye. And have a good Sunday.